My name is Dave. I am 55 years old. I have my own garage. What makes it special is that I built it from scratch. I started working when I was 18 years old. I worked under my uncle, and after 7 years I had saved enough money to start my own garage. The initial years were hard. I worked my butt off to make it work. Over the next 30 years it grew to what it is today. Did I fall in love? Yes. I fell in love with Jenny. I met her at an auto show. She was still in university. It was an instant connection. We exchanged numbers and decided to meet. Since we were in different cities, our communication was limited to phone calls. A few months later, we met again, and this time, the meeting ended at my place. She was amazing, and it was her first time. A few months later, Jenny lost her parents, and her university fees were in jeopardy. I knew she was the one for me, so I came to her rescue and put my savings towards her studies. She was overwhelmed, started crying, and hugged me. 5 years later, she moved in with me and landed a job with a local law firm as a lawyer. It was a beautiful Sunday, and we had gone hiking. After 3 hours, we reached the top of the hill and could see the entire city. Suddenly, Jenny got on one knee and proposed. I was surprised and said yes. She gave me a ring and told me, "From now on, you are mine forever." We got married 3 weeks later in a very small ceremony. Over the next 20 years, our life was great. We had 2 kids, Maria, 19 years old, and James, 18 years old. They are now living their own lives. Maria is completing her university, and James is the lead guitarist in a local rock band. With both kids out of the house, I was content and satisfied with my life. I never got a higher education and was always seen as a brute, but I never bothered. It was at this time that Jenny changed. After being married for 20 years, I knew everything about her, how she thinks, how she behaves, and how she lies. There were too many overtime hours at her new office. She had changed jobs about a year ago, which came with more money and more glamour. Her new boss was a big-shot lawyer and was famous for his court cases. I never liked him, but I never thought I would have to cross paths with him. After observing Jenny for about 3 months, I confronted her and asked about her late-night working hours. I am a gentle soul, but today was different. Jenny had never seen my other side. It took about 20 minutes of hard interrogation, and she broke down. She admitted to sleeping with her new boss. I had a simple question. Why? You are the same man that I married 20 years ago. You never changed, never upgraded. You wear shabby clothes, look like a brute, and are unpresentable in society. I want better, someone who can be presented as my equal. You just agree to everything I want, never acted as the husband and took charge as an alpha male. I looked at her and then asked, "You want to leave me after my loyalty of over 25 years because you cannot present me at your parties? Just because I do not dominate and abuse you, I'm not a good husband? I sent 2 kids to college. I made sure you became a lawyer, and today I am not good enough." She then tried to play tough with me. You should understand this situation and accept it as it is. I will be with my new lover, and you should accept it. If you don't, I will divorce you and take away everything that you have ever worked for. I will take away everything. I will put you in legal loops, and you will spend the rest of your life running between the court and the streets. I will then take away your most prized possession, that garage you have built over the years. It will be gone. So, better be ready for it. I leaned back in my chair. You think you can put in an illegal process and take away everything? She nodded. I laughed and said, "Best of luck." She tried to speak, but I never allowed her to, and got up and left the house. The next morning, I saw Jenny and just walked out of the house for work. Once I had left, Jenny called her lover. "Hello, John. What's the matter, sweetie? You look terrible. Dave knows about us. He confronted me this morning. I told him everything." "Shit, that could complicate things. It's not the end of the world, though. We talked about this possibility." "I know we did, but when the time came, it hurt. After all, Dave and I have been together for 25 years, married for 20, and had 2 kids together." "What did you say to him?" "Pretty much what we agreed on. I didn't bother denying it. You know I'm a lousy liar. I pretty much stuck to the script you suggested. Told him the truth of it. That you're a successful career woman, a lawyer no less, who has been married to a mere mechanic for just about her entire adult life. A guy who has never tried to better himself. That for once in my life, I wanted to be with an alpha male. Someone who is my equal. A man that can take charge, not one that bowed to my wishes every step of the way." "Yeah, pretty much. Don't put him down too much, though. He does have his own business now, and his trade did provide for the kids and me, putting them through college and me through university. It's just that when we rehearsed it, it sounded like I deserved someone like you. But when he reminded me of the years of support, both emotional and financial, he'd provided, it all sounded a little hollow. You know what I'm saying? Did you tell him everything?" That if he didn't accept the status quo, the firm would back you to the hilt in a divorce and leave him penniless. Yes, I did, John. The only problem is he didn't seem to care a rat's ass about all that stuff. He just kept repeating that he couldn't believe I was tossing him away after all his loyalty. I've got to say, John, it hurt. I tried to tell him I wasn't discarding him. I just felt I deserved a little extra, but I don't think he took that in. I don't want to lose him, John. A little extra, Jen? I'm insulted. You said you love my size, honey? You told me it took you places good old hubby hadn't taken you in years. Did you or did you not say you'd never had sex like it? Yes, I did, John. But I told you I wasn't that experienced when I married Dave, and he was always so gentle. You were so different, so dominating and demanding. It just swept me away. Yes, and I will continue to sweep you away, lover. Your husband will just have to accept that you have an extra dimension now. With you, he's lost his top dog status. I'm the alpha male around here, and he'll just have to accept it. Still, I'd hate to think I've cost you a 25-year marriage. Tell you what, I'll prepare some documents and go see him this afternoon. Leave me the address of his workshop. What documents? Anything that I can think of. You know the trick we play on all gullible schmucks. Orders restraining him from coming anywhere near you, me, or your home. Papers freezing his company bank accounts. That's just the start. Overwhelm them with papers that he's not qualified to know are just bluffs. Your little hubby is about to be told in no uncertain terms just who the alpha is around here. Believe me, sweetie, by the time I finished bullying him, he'll be begging you to give him whatever scraps he can get. I don't know. You didn't see his face this morning. That afternoon, around 2 p.m., the alpha male came to my garage. Mr. Brown, can I come in? My name is. I know who you are. Good, that saves some time. I believe Jenny told you this morning that the arrangement she and I have will continue into the foreseeable future. What she didn't tell you, I believe, is why you'll allow it. If I could just sit my briefcase here, thank you. I don't know if you're aware, but I am the owner of the company Jenny works for. That means I have over 20 lawyers at my disposal, and I can absolutely assure you that every single one of them was chosen because of their superior record of cases won. Over half of them are experienced in divorce law, and believe me, I'll have no hesitation unleashing every single one of them against you. This bundle is just what I got ready to file this morning. I'll go through them briefly. This is a petition for divorce. See, your wife has already signed it. This is an order freezing your company accounts until the business can be sold under a settlement agreement. This is an order giving you 24 hours to vacate your marital home. These 4 are restraining orders keeping you at least 200 meters away from myself, Jenny, her home, and our place of business. Do you see which way this is going to go, Davy boy? I'll have you so wrapped up in legal writs you won't be able to move. You'll give up in the end when you don't have a penny left to find the world's worst lawyer. And guess what? All through this, I'll still be fucking your wife. Yes, I can see you're bigger and stronger than me, but you have to realize Neanderthals don't rule the world anymore. Brains won over brawn years ago. Look, it doesn't have to be like that, Mr. Brown. Not at all. Let's just keep the status quo, shall we? I'll keep fucking her when I want, and you get to fuck her when she wants, just like it's been for the last 4 months. Hey, why make waves? I'll get sick of her one day, then she'll be all yours again. All right, I've said my piece. Let's face it, if you'd been all she needed, we wouldn't be here now, would we? My advice is to just accept it, take it on the chin, and use it as an opportunity for self-improvement. One piece of advice, though, buddy, stand up to your wife a little more. I stole her off you not by being the most charming guy who tried, but by being the alpha male and telling her how it was going to end up. Just like I've done with you. Have you finished yet, windbag? I can see that like most of society today, you don't have a fucking clue what the term alpha male means. Do you want a mere mechanic to explain it to you? Go on, tell me what it means. Well, they do say a picture paints 1,000 words. With this, I took a half step forward and drove my right fist into the lawyer's face. There was a satisfying crunch of gristle and teeth being dislodged. John slumped to the floor, back against the wall of the workshop, a look of absolute amazement clear on the undamaged part of his face. Consider that illustration number 1. Before the pain really cut in, I lifted John to his feet but immediately dropped him again with an uppercut to the diaphragm. This time, John lay on his side, hunting for breath. And that illustration number 2. Just as John's search for breath is paying dividends, my steel-capped right boot stomps on the lawyer's outstretched hand, breaking the wrist and several bones within the hand. A boot to the chest, breaking 3 ribs, settles Dave's rage for the moment. And they were illustrations 3 and 4. And Mr. Alpha, it would really help if you stopped squealing. I'm trying to teach you something here. By the way, thanks for making me break my promise to myself back in high school never to use my size and strength offensively. I was going to leave you out of the consequences of Jenny's actions until you came barging in here, rubbing my nose in it. Even gentlemen have their breaking points. I rest my foot on John's throat until I gain his full attention again. Now back to your education. The term alpha male comes from wolf packs. He's the one and only wolf who tells all the others what to do. He might not be the smartest wolf or even the biggest, but what he is the meanest motherfucker around. The one that will kill without a second's hesitation. He's absolutely ruthless, and you, son, don't even come close. You may be the alpha in the small world of your air-conditioned office, but out here in the big bad world, you're just another pissant. And I really wouldn't go around calling yourself smart. You didn't even bring a witness. You dumb fuck. Now let's look at the possible futures here. Option 1 is that you report this to the police. Maybe they arrest me. Maybe they don't. Maybe they let me out on bail. Maybe they don't. Maybe they pin it on me. Maybe they can't. Lot of maybes in there, John. Worst case scenario for me is that I get a 5-year apprenticeship in prison. 5 years of learning how to hurt people. How to kill and hide the body so no one ever finds it. And then when I finish my apprenticeship, we'll have another conversation like this one. Or, windbag, you can chalk this up to experience. Use it as one of your learning experiences of what can happen when you screw another man's wife. Now fuck off. I have some cleaning to do thanks to you bleeding and, Jesus effing Christ, crapping yourself on my nice, clean workshop floor. Alpha, my fucking arse. Jenny called John that evening. John, I'm waiting at the office. I thought you'd be back ages ago. Where are you? I've just been admitted to a ward in the hospital after 3 hours in casualty. My God, what happened? Were you in an accident? No. I underestimated your husband. I stupidly went to see him alone. He broke my nose, my left hand, some ribs, and possibly my cheekbone. I don't believe it. He's never been violent that I know of. Believe me, it's true. I'll show you the x-rays if you like. My God. I can't believe it. Not my Dave. Is there any way I can stop you from going to the police? We kind of brought this on ourselves. Despite what he's done, Dave doesn't deserve to end up in prison over this. The police have already been here. I told them I was knocked down by a hit-and-run driver. Your darling, gentle husband told me that as bad as I am now, this is only a down payment on what I can expect if I press charges. I can't risk getting hurt again. I've decided to keep my mouth well and truly shut. That sounds a bit wussy. It sounds like you're terrified of him. I just can't believe it. Dave wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, believe me, I have the broken bones to prove it. Just doing what I need to do to survive, Jen. Now, I've got to go. They filled me full of pain meds and they're starting to kick in. The next day at John's hospital bedside. John? John, you have to help me. I drove around till after 8 last night. I didn't know if it would be safe to go home. I tried ringing Dave to ask, but he never picked up. When I finally braved going home, all the locks were changed. I couldn't get in. I ended up staying at my sister's house. I checked this morning and all our bank accounts are empty and none of our credit cards work. You have to help me. Can you get one of the divorce guys at work to start the process of getting Dave removed from the house? Can I come stay with you until then? No. No to what? All of it. If I use company assets and resources to help you, he will have cause to come after me again. In fact, I'm going to play it safe. You're fired, Jen. I'll pay you an extra 4 weeks in severance if you pack up and leave today. Can you tell Dave that I fired you if you see him, please? Didn't you hear me? Dave has cleaned me out. Without money, a job, or your help, I'm screwed from the start. I'm sorry, Jen. You didn't see your husband's face as he beat me up. I'm doing what I have to do. You're pathetic. Yesterday you were bragging that you're an alpha male. Today you're quivering and worried that my husband, who is 10 times the man you are, is hiding under your bed. How I could ever think I'd be trading up if I ended up with you is beyond me. And you're delusional to think I was ever serious about a cheating slut like you. That same day, Jennifer Brown sat in her silent car on the side of the road. With credit cards declined and out of cash, it had only been a matter of time before she ran out of fuel. I had not thought to cancel her phone service. Or was I being calculatedly cruel? She was driving towards the city where her 2 children now lived, looking for refuge. In all the years, they'd never let more than an hour pass before answering her messages. She'd started ringing them just after 10 that morning. She checked messages once again. 0. Jenny sighed, grabbed her useless handbag, and stepped out of the car. Straightening her skirt, she stepped to the side of the road and stuck out her thumb. I approached in a beaten-up van and smiled to myself as I saw the lone woman on the side of the road. I wouldn't have described myself as an alpha male. Even I was wise enough to know that loners cannot ever be described that way. Apex predators hunt alone. I stopped the van near her. She was shocked. She thought to run. Her body refused. She stood frozen. I climbed down and asked her to get in. We need to talk. She got in. I told her to prepare the divorce papers. No alimony. No share in my assets. Everything I own will be with me. Everything you own stays with you. All the jewelry I bought for you, you will return. You can put whatever you want as a cause for divorce. I don't care as long as you're out of my life. You will leave town after the divorce is finalized and never look back. You may talk to my kids and meet them in my absence, provided they want to meet you. Your stuff will be packed and ready to be picked up from the house by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. You will come and pick it up. In case it is not picked up by 11 a.m., it will be burnt. Do I make myself clear? She nodded. I asked when can I get the papers. She stated that it will take a week. I stated that it should be on my desk in the next 5 days. She nodded. I looked at her again. She looked like she had seen a ghost. I smiled, asked her to get out, and I drove off. Next morning by 10:30 a.m. she had picked up her stuff, and 5 days later she did deliver the papers, and the cause was mentioned as irreconcilable differences. I laughed. A few months later I was a free man. I regret that my marriage broke down. I regret that Jenny did not understand the meaning of being loyal. I regret that she thought that I could not change my clothes and become a presentable husband. She did not understand that she could get seriously hurt if a 6 feet 5 inches guy tried to dominate her in bed. I would have tried to save my marriage, talked to my wife, but she chose to threaten me with consequences. Now that is a point of no return for me. I will continue my life alone, and maybe one day I will die alone. After all, every apex predator dies alone.